Ano nga ba ang katipunan? Ano nga ba yung mga aral na tinuturo ng katipunan? Bakit nga ba nabuo ang katipunan? Ito yung mga tanong na ating sasagutin sa episode na ito. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. Welcome back to my channel. This is me again, Sir Jun, your philosophy and social science teacher. And today, we are going to talk about the KKK and the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Welcome to our discussion and welcome to our series of talks about the readings in the Philippine history. By the way, if you are still new to my channel, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and ring the bell down there para ma-updated ka sa lahat ng videos na aking i-upload. By the way guys, kung hindi mo pa napanood yung ibang discussions ko tungkol sa mga topics in the Philippine history, you can search my YouTube channel, Jun Michael Antone, and see my videos in there. Hanapin mo lang yung mga videos ko about the Philippine history. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung Kataastaasan, Kagalanggalangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan at ang Kartilya ng Katipunan. Dito sa video ito, gagawa natin ng analysis yung Kartilya ng Katipunan in connection to the ideals and aspirations that the Katipuneros would like to implement during their time. And we will try to understand what are the reasons behind the creation of the Katipunan. So, dyan ka lang, keep watching. Sisimulan na natin ang ating discussion in 3, 2, 1. Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng KKK? So basically, ang KKK ay isang acronym. Tinatawag natin itong katipunan. Pero ang ibig sabihin nito is Kataastaasan, Kagalanggalangang Katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. This is a secret society established with a purpose of uniting the Filipinos. And, of course, overthrowing the Spanish government na nag-occupy sa Pilipinas during the time of the Spanish colonization. So, basically, ang pinaka-aim ng Katipunan was to have independence, to gain our freedom, upang makamit natin ang kalayaan galing sa mga dayuhang Espanyol. Now, prior or before the creation of the Katipunan, meron ng mga revolusyon na nangyayari. In fact, it was recorded by Teodoro Agoncillo in his book, The Revolt of the Masses. So actually, there were some revolutions already that happened. And to name, we have the revolution of Diego Silang, Gabriela Silang. So these were revolutions that happened against the government of Spain. Ngunit, paano naiiba ang Katipunan sa mga previous revolution? May dalawang dahilan kung bakit naiiba ang Katipunan sa mga previous revolutions. Number 1, the Katipunan aspires to unite the nation in creating a huge revolution against Spain. So ito yung hindi nangyari sa mga previous revolution. Kasi yung mga previous revolution was more on local. No, yung mga dahilan was more on something local, not really establishing a unified, a national revolution against the government of Spain. Yan yung unang dahilan. Pangalawang dahilan was that the Katipunan was the secret society that wanted total separation from the government of Spain, which was not envisioned by the previous revolution. Kasi yung mga previous revolutions, they just want to have equal rights, equal opportunity. They just want to have protection from abuses from the friars. No, they just want to have equal opportunities. Gaya ng ginawa ni Dr. Rizal. doon sa La Liga Filipina, di ba? So they did not aspire for total separation. On the other hand, the Katipunan wanted a total freedom, a total liberation from the colonization. Ngayon, ano yung mga ideologies? Ano yung mga aspirations? Yung mga values na itinuturo ng Katipunan sa kanilang mga miyembro? Let's try to understand and let's try to revisit the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Pero bago natin pag-usapan yung content ng Kartilya, pag-usapan muna natin yung author ng Kartilya. Sino nga ba yung author ng document na ito? So, the Kartilya ng Katipunan was written by Emilio Jacinto in 1896. So, Emilio Jacinto was 18 years old when he joined the Katipunan movement. So, basically, Emilio Jacinto was a law student from the University of Santo Tomas. So, napaka-bata pa ni Jacinto nung pumasok siya sa Katipunan. Imagine, he was just 18 years old. Ngunit, Andres Bonifacio, as the father of the Katipunan or the founding father of the Katipunan, saw the intelligence of Emilio Jacinto. Kaya, Andres Bonifacio made use of the Kartilya written by Emilio Jacinto to be taught, to be followed by the members of the Katipunan instead of the Decalogue, kasi may Decalogue ding sinulat si Bonifacio, which has also became the code of ethics sa mga membro ng Katipunan. However, from that time that Andres Bonifacio saw the value, the essence of the Kartilya that was written by Emilio Jacinto, then the Kartilya was used instead of the Decalogue as the code of conduct of every Katipuneros. So, nagiging code of conduct yon ng mga members of the Katipunan as ordered by the Supremo Bonifacio. And from that time, Emilio Jacinto was appointed as the secretary of the Katipunan. And later on, he was appointed by Bonifacio as the commander in the Northern Luzon movement, which is still part of the Katipunan, when he was at the age of 22. However, Emilio Jacinto died at the age of 24. He died with a malaria somewhere in Laguna. So, sayang, no? Anyway, let's talk about his Kartilya ng Katipunan. So, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, the Kartilya was a code of conduct. So, in fact, it was composed of 14 rules in which each Katipuneros should follow and behave. They should behave following these 14 rules. And it also speaks of what kind of values they should aspire for. So, ito yung maganda. Now, the question is, was the Kartilya the law of the Katipunan? Ito ba yung batas ng Katipunan? So, I think pwede nating sabihin niya na ito yung naging batas nila during their time as the Katipunan existed. However, for me, there's a slight difference between the law and code of conduct. Now, kasi the law itself, as the essence of the law is more specified on the don'ts. Ano yung hindi natin dapat gawin. However, the code of conduct of the Kartilya ng Katipunan specifies more on what should we do? Ano yung dapat gawin bilang isang miyembro ng Katipunan? And this is the essence of the Kartilya ng Katipunan. Kasi, kung i-sum up natin yung Kartilya ng Katipunan, actually they can be only classified into two. Now, number one is that the Kartilya makes a member of the Katipunan an upright individual, magiging mabuting tao as a person. So it was a self-enrichment. It was for self-development of each individual or each members of the Katipunan. So basically, following the Kartilya would make a person become a better person, become a just, honest, and upright individual. That's the first one. Now, the second one is that the Kartilya will guide every Katipuneros on how he or she treat other people. No? So, dalawa lang. Again, let me repeat. For self-development. And second, is a guide for us on how should we treat other people. Ngayon, puntahan natin yung pinanghuhugutan ni Emilio Jacinto in writing this Kartilya. And we'll try to explain one or more lines that speaks something about the very deep reasons of why this Kartilya was made for the Katipunan. So let's talk about number 4 rule and number 14. So number 4 rule states, whether our skin be black or white, we are all born equal. Superiority in knowledge, wealth, and beauty are to be understood, but not superiority by nature. Number 14 rule says, when these rules of conduct shall be known to all, the longed-for sun of liberty shall rise brilliant over this most unhappy portion of the globe, and its rays shall diffuse everlasting joy among the confederated brethren of the same race. The lives of those who have gone before, the fatigues and the well-paid sufferings will remain. If he who desires to enter has informed himself of all this, and believes he will be able to perform what will be his duties, he may fill out the application for admission. By understanding this 14 and 4th rule, dito natin makikita that the content and provisions of the Kartilya was a reaction to some value systems na nakita nila na dapat itama or mali. No? It was a reaction of racism, of gender superiority, of culture superiority, of ethnocentrism. No, ito yung mga maling kultura na gustong itama ng mga Katipuneros, which was explained in the Kartilya ng Katipunan. So matandaan natin sa kasaysayan that the Europeans considered the Filipinos as Indios, as inferior, and they were the superior. Tayo yung inferior. Tama ba ito? Diba? So, the Katipuneros saw that we are all equal. Lahat lang tayo, tao. We are the same essence, we are the same human beings, regardless of the colors of our skin, whether you are black or white. We are the same. We are human beings. And there should be equality. Another good teaching which is included in the provision of the Kartilya was the ideology of liberty, equality, freedom. These ideologies already existed in the 18th century, and this was of course saw by the Ilustrados on some European countries, such as of course the ideas of the historical event such as the French Revolution. There were revolutions that happened in some of the Spanish colony in Latin America. Also, these ideas actually inspired, and if we are going to trace back the root causes of these ideologies, this comes from the philosophers of the 18th century, 17th to 18th century. So, ito yung mga ideolohiya na gustong ituro ni Emilio Jacinto to each of the members of the Katipunan, to gain freedom, to gain liberty from the hands of the colonizers. Ngayon, puntahan natin yung teachings ng Katipunan about the treatment towards women. So let's talk about rule number 10. Rule number 10 says, on the thorny path of life, man is the guide of woman and the children. And if the guide leads to the precipice, those whom he guides will also go there. Rule number 11 also says, thou must not look upon woman as a mere plaything, but as a faithful companion who will share with thee the penalties of life. Her physical weakness will increase thy interest in her, and she will remind thee of the mother who bore thee. and reared they. To analyze these rules, dito natin makikita yung stand ng Katipunan on the issues of rape against women, on the issues of the abuses of the friars against women, no? Yung gender inequality that happened in their time, no? That women were just considered as a mere plaything, na parang laruan lang, na pagkatapos ang kinin at pagsawaan ay iiwanan na lamang luhaan at sugatan. So this was not, or the Katipunan was against this practice, no? And the Katipunan wanted to promote gender equality, that women should be treated with respect, that women should be treated as a companion to men. No? Napakagandang aral. Napakagandang aral na kahit tayong mga Pilipino ngayon, we can actually learn from these ideologies. No? There should be respect always to women. No? Tingnan nyo, di ba? They are like our mother, who gave birth to us, who raised us, diba? And they should be respected, not to be considered as things or laruan. So really, the Katipunan considered women as partners in our struggles. In fact, there were some women who became also members of the Katipunan, diba? So there were also women unit who were part of the Katipunan. In fact, Gregoria de Jesus, or si Oriang, the wife of Andres Bonifacio, was one also of the very active members who were leading the women in the Katipunan. Another very important teaching that was provided in the Kartilya was to become selfless, to become a person not only for yourself, but to become a person for other people. Rule number 2 says, to do good for personal gain and not for its own sake is not virtue. You see, makikita natin that the Katipuneros were teaching the Filipinos, the members of the Katipunan, to become selfless, to learn how to sacrifice their time, to learn how to give good deeds, not only for their families, not only for their village, but to make good and ordinary actions towards their fellow Filipinos. So, eto yung mga magagandang aral na pwede nating matutunan in studying the readings in Philippine history, especially in this Kartilya ng Katipunan. This is me again, Sir Jun Michael, and if you have more questions, huwag kayong mahiyang magtanong. Just comment down there in the comment section and I am willing to answer your questions as long as kaya ko pang sagutin ang mga tanong ninyo. So, thank you very much for joining me in my channel. Thank you very much for watching these vlogs. Please also help me, guys. No? Thank you for subscribing. No? Honestly, I started making vlogs during the lockdown, during the quarantine. But when we started already our classes, no, I have understood the struggles of our students right now. Na medyo nahihirapan sila sa kanilang mga modules. So that is why I am making these video discussions to help my students. So I hope that I have helped you in my discussions. And I hope that you have also learned something from my video discussions. So again, this is Sir Jun, and God bless you. Thank you for your support.